What's going on, YouTube? I'm back at it in this pink ass shirt I got from work. So it's gonna be another car story today. I was debating between a couple of them, but I think I'm gonna tell this one. So long time ago, your boy had a Chevy Lumina, and it was a piece of shit. Like, I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I love that car. It was a boat. So it was my first car. My dad gave it to me, and it was nothing special. The only thing I did, growing up where I grew up, I mean, everybody was about systems and whatnot, and I only put a system in it, and that's pretty much it. I wasn't really like too big into cars. Like, I like cars, don't get me wrong, at the time, but I wasn't more like a gearhead or anything like that. But I used to drive it around quite a bit, you know, with my boys, and just hang out, do stupid shit. So there was one night, me, my buddy Josh, my buddy Boblet, I think that was it. I'm pretty sure that was it. We were just driving around, and in Michigan it rains, you know, quite a bit every once in a while, you know. And today was pretty much like any other day, just regular rain, whatnot. And we were just driving around, enjoying life. It was the middle of the night. No, it was I want to say like midday. Yeah, it had to have been like midday, because what happens later. So we're just driving, and there's this bridge in Battle Creek, and this camera looks shaky as fuck. But there's this bridge in Battle Creek, and it's called the Upton Bridge. And the reason why they call it that is because there's a train, like it's literally a train bridge, and it goes over Upton Street. So that spot tends to like flood, and just like it's just full of water, right? And you're not supposed to drive through it. Well, there's no warnings, nothing like that. There might be now, but back then there wasn't. And me and my boys were driving, and I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I was probably a little messed up, not even thinking about it, because I knew about that spot. And so we're driving, and I'm just, you know, focused on the road, whatnot. My boys are talking, and I see the spot, and I'm just like, all right, whatever, you know, just drive. All of a sudden, it just dives right into the water, right? And I'm sitting there trying to gas it to get it going, right? And next thing you know, it just shuts off. I'm like, fuck, I just drowned my car. Like, I told my boy Boblet, I was like, bro, get out, push, hurry, get it out. What's this motherfucker do? He opens the fucking door, and when he opens the door, it literally just lets a bunch of water in. And I'm like, no. And like, I feel bad, because I was kind of being an asshole, but he ends up shutting the door, rolling down the window, and this motherfucker takes a sweet ass time. He starts pulling off his pants, because he had basketball shorts underneath. He takes off his shirt, and I'm like, bro, hurry. And he's just like, bro, hold on, I'm not trying to get my shit wet. I'm like, bro, just hurry. So he literally jumps out and almost dives into the fucking water. That's how deep it was. It came up to like the top of my headlights, and so he goes into the back and starts pushing. My boy Josh ends up getting out, and he starts pushing, and I'm sitting there trying to steer and whatnot. And then finally we get it out, and I try to start it, wouldn't start. And I tried to start it again, wouldn't start. Just kept trying, and I was like, fuck, my dad is gonna beat my ass. But we ended up pushing it across the street to a dealership, and this is why I said it was midday, because the dealership was closed. And tow. It's the Kia dealership. And I was like, please don't tow this. I will be back tomorrow to grab it. If any questions, just call me. I'll wake up and I'll, you know, get down here or whatever, if it's not in the way, which it wasn't. But no phone calls, nothing like that. And I ended up going down there the next day. Before that, I told my dad, and he's like, oh, I'll get it started. And I'm like, no, you won't. Like, it's done. Like, it's done for. And he's like, no, just, I'll get it. And I was like, okay. So we go down there, and my dad hops in the car, and I'm, you know, a cocky little 18 little shit. And I'm like, bro, it's not gonna fucking start. Like, I don't know why you're gonna keep trying. So he just, nothing. And I can see him starting to like give it a little gas and whatnot. And then I'm like, bro, it's not gonna start. And he's like, shut the fuck up and let me do my thing. I'm like, all right, whatever. So he just and it just starts up. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, all right, drive it home. It's not gonna go fast. And I was like, it started up, like, why not? So I get in there and I start to drive it home. And when I'm driving it home, like, if I got, like, I had to ease the pedal. Like, my takeoff, like, I was probably doing, if I had to do 0 to 60, it probably would have took like 10 minutes to get to 60 miles an hour. But I had to limp it all the way home at like 25 miles an hour. If I tried to give it a little gas, it would just die. So finally got it home. Once I got it home, I parked it, and then I'd say probably like a month later, some guy that kept like driving by and whatnot stopped up in my my house, the driveway, and he starts looking at my car, and I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So I go out there, and mind you, I grab my dad because, you know, we lived in a bad area, and we go out there, and he's like, hey, I've been seeing this car sit here for a long time, and he's like, I was wondering if you guys, you know, wanted to sell it. And I was like, bro, you don't want it. I was like, it drowned. I drove it under the Upton Bridge, and he's like, oh, where it floods? And I'm like, yeah. So he's like, oh, no problem. He's like, I got the engine and everything for this car. I just need the body. And I was like, you sure? It might have electrical problems. He's like, yeah, that's fine. He's like, I'm a mechanic. I know how to do all this shit. And I was like, okay, cool. So he's like, I'll give you 150 for it since it's, you know, dead. And I look at my dad, I'm like, that doesn't sound great, but, and he's like, just get rid of it. And I was like, all right, cool. So got it, gave my dad the 150 because he gave me that car, and I didn't want to, you know, take his money, essentially. But after I gave him that, I ended up going and buying a new car, and that was my first, like, stick after that. But yeah, I just thought it was a funny story. Hopefully hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I got tons more coming. I'm gonna try and make them a little bit better. I'm gonna try to get like other people to ride along with me, and then we can tell stories. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, like, share, subscribe. Also, there's a car meet coming up that I'm gonna try to go to at work, but I'm gonna try to get it off. But yeah, there's a car meet coming up, and it's in Tucson. It's Stan Spores, so a bunch of cars. It's gonna be a big one. I'm sure you guys have seen like Crispy make a video about it and whatnot. But all right, guys, stay tuned. Till next time, peace.